The alien armada drifted like a storm of metal across the void, hundreds of warships cutting through the silence of space. Their commanders stood tall in their war rooms, certain of victory. For weeks, their intelligence networks had whispered of human ships gathering near the outer rim. They believed they had finally cornered Earth's main fleet. This would be the battle that ended humanity once and for all. The aliens had numbers, firepower, and centuries of dominance across the stars. Against that, the humans could not hope to win, or so they thought. When the first human vessels appeared on their scanners, a ripple of confusion spread among the alien officers. Instead of a vast armada, there were only a handful of ships, small, lean. Their hulls bore no great markings, no banners of war. To the alien commanders, it looked almost laughable, a fragile spear tip against a mountain. "Is this it?" One admiral sneered. "Is this the Great Earth Fleet, a joke?" The alien soldiers laughed with him, convinced that in mere minutes the humans would be erased from the stars. But then the battle began. The first volley of alien fire lit up the void, a wall of plasma and missiles tearing toward the human formation. The human ships moved, not like prey, not like desperate survivors, but like predators. With perfect precision they shifted, twisted, and broke apart the incoming barrage as if they had rehearsed the attack 1,000 times. Shields shimmered, weapons flashed, and before the aliens could regroup, the humans struck back. A single human ship targeted the lead alien cruiser. Its weapons burned with cold blue light, piercing the cruiser's shields like paper. In one shot, the ship exploded, scattering debris across space. Silence filled the alien command bridge. That was not supposed to happen. No single ship should have been able to destroy a cruiser of that size. Yet it had happened in seconds. Panic rippled through the alien fleet. More orders were barked, more volleys unleashed. But again the humans danced through the fire. Their formation looked small, fragile, but every move was sharp and flawless, as if they already knew where the enemy would strike. Alien destroyers fell one by one, their commanders screaming into comms, unable to understand how such a small human force could resist. In the command chambers of the alien armada, fear began to grow. "This is not possible," one officer stammered. "We outnumber them 50-1. They cannot hold." Yet the humans did hold, and worse, they pushed forward. Their weapons were not as many, but each shot was devastating. Their engines were not as loud, but their speed was unmatched. What should have been a slaughter turned into a nightmare. Minutes passed, then an hour, and the tide of battle shifted completely. The aliens who had mocked Earth's fleet now found themselves retreating, desperate to regroup. But no regrouping came. The humans hunted them with silent precision, cutting off escape routes, crippling engines, striking with the skill of veterans who had been forged in fire. On one alien flagship, the commander's hands shook as he watched his tactical display. Half his fleet was gone, scattered wreckage drifting in space. The humans had lost almost nothing. How could this be? He looked at the human ships again, small shadows against the stars, and for the first time he felt fear. This was not how the battle was supposed to go. It should have been quick. It should have been easy, but instead, his mighty armada was being dismantled piece by piece. And then just when he thought the worst was over, the humans did something terrifying. They advanced. Their ships surged forward into the heart of the alien formation, tearing through battleships as if they were nothing. Alien commanders screamed orders, but none of it mattered. Every strategy failed. Every plan fell apart. The humans were always one step ahead, striking with perfect timing, retreating only to bait the enemy into traps. It was as if the humans were reading their minds. The alien soldiers, proud warriors of empires that had crushed dozens of races before, now whispered the same thought. This shouldn't be happening. But it was. Their fleet was collapsing. Their commanders were losing control. And in the chaos, one truth became clear. Earth was not weak. Humanity was not broken. Even with only a handful of ships, they fought like an unstoppable storm. When the final order to retreat was given, it came too late. Most of the alien fleet was already in ruins, their ships torn apart, their commanders silenced forever. The Yado survivors scattered into the void, their voices trembling as they sent frantic reports back to their homeworlds. The battle that should have been humanity's end had become their greatest victory, and as the alien commanders stared into the wreckage, fear rooted itself deep in their hearts. They had thought they fought Earth's fleet, but something about the humans' discipline, their silence, their flawless maneuvers whispered a darker truth. This battle should never have happened, and yet it had, and the galaxy would soon learn why. The battlefield was supposed to be a place of alien triumph, yet it had become a graveyard of shattered hulls and burning wreckage. The alien commanders had entered with confidence, convinced their superior numbers would crush the humans. Now they watched in disbelief as ship after ship fell to Earth's handful of vessels. Their pride told them it was impossible. Their eyes told them it was undeniable. Humanity was winning. Alien fleets roared forward with desperation. Thousands of ships, each armed with weapons powerful enough to reduce entire cities to dust, launched volleys of fire across the void. The sky lit up with streaks of plasma and missiles, an ocean of destruction meant to swallow the humans whole. But once again, the humans moved like shadows. Their ships darted and twisted, weaving through the storm with an elegance that no alien pilot could match. What should have been a massacre turned into a dance of death, human vessels slipping past destruction, answering with strikes so precise that each alien loss felt like a knife piercing the heart of their fleet. On the alien command bridge, the admiral shouted orders, his voice shaking with rage. Overwhelm them, crush them. But his words carried no power. Every formation he ordered collapsed. Every trap was undone. It was as though the humans already knew his every move before he made it. How? He whispered to himself, his hands trembling. How are they doing this? No one answered. None of his officers dared to speak the truth aloud. The humans were simply better. Across the battlefront, alien soldiers felt their courage fading. Ships exploded one after another, comrades screaming as they vanished into fire. Yet the humans remained unbroken, their small fleet still fighting as if the impossible was nothing but another challenge to overcome. Fear spread like disease. If this is their main force, some aliens muttered, then the galaxy is already lost. But then the tide shifted again, and the truth grew even worse. The humans stopped merely defending themselves. They advanced. Their warships, glowing with cold determination, cut straight into the heart of the alien armada. They did not hesitate. They did not falter. Every shot they fired crippled a ship. Every maneuver tore holes into the alien lines. For the first time in memory, the galaxy's proud conquerors were reduced to prey, running from hunters they thought extinct. The alien admiral tried to rally his forces, screaming into his comms, but his voice was drowned by chaos. Fall back, regroup, he cried. But there was no regrouping. The humans drove them apart, separating ship from ship, tearing formations to pieces. Alien vessels, once proud and mighty, drifted helpless and burning into the void. The battlefield had become a nightmare, and the nightmare wore a human face. Hours later, when silence finally returned to the stars, it was not the aliens who stood victorious. It was the humans. Their ships remained, scarred but unbroken, standing tall among the wreckage of thousands of alien vessels. The surviving alien commanders stared in hollow silence, unable to believe what had just happened. The battle that should have crushed Earth had ended with humanity standing as the victor. The survivors fled, scattering across the void, carrying with them a truth they wished they could forget. They had faced the humans in battle. They had fought, with overwhelming force, and they had lost. What unsettled them even more was the discipline of the human fleet. They did not pursue the survivors. They did not taunt, did not boast. They simply stood their ground, silent and watchful, as though the battle had been nothing more than routine. That silence was worse than any threat. It whispered of confidence, of control, of power that no one in the galaxy could measure. In The war rooms of alien empires, reports of the battle spread like wildfire. Commanders who read the accounts shook their heads in disbelief. Senators whispered in panic. Warlords slammed their fists in fury. The question on everyone's lips was the same. If this small human fleet could destroy thousands of ships, what would Earth's full armada look like? The galaxy had always believed humanity was dangerous, but after this victory, they understood something deeper. Humanity was not just dangerous. Humanity was terrifying. And the most chilling truth of all, the aliens would soon discover that what they faced was not Earth's army. It was something far smaller. But for now, they did not know. They only saw the battlefield, and in their nightmares, the wreckage burned forever under the shadow of human victory. The survivors of the alien fleet limped through the void, their ships scarred, their pride shattered. They had marched into battle with overwhelming numbers, certain of victory, and yet they had been broken. The commanders sat in silence, their war rooms filled with smoke and despair. No one spoke of courage. No one spoke of honor. Only one question haunted every mind. How had such a small force of humans defeated them so completely? The answer came by accident. A communication fragment was intercepted during the retreat. A human transmission carried across the wreckage of the battlefield. It was short, casual, almost careless, an officer reporting to his superior. Scout Unit 7, status green, mission successful, awaiting orders. The alien technicians froze. Their hands shook as they replayed the words again and again, as though their ears had deceived them. Scout Unit. Not a fleet. Not even a strike force. A scout unit. The words spread like poison through the surviving ships. At first, commanders dismissed it as deception, a cruel trick meant to humiliate them, but the evidence grew undeniable. The human formation had been too small, too focused, too precise. Their ships had not been built for conquest. They had been built for reconnaissance, for observation, and yet they had torn apart an armada. Torn by. The truth reached the alien admiral, his blood ran cold. We did not face Earth's fleet, he whispered, his voice breaking. We faced their scouts. The words echoed through his bridge like a death sentence. Officers lowered their heads, in silence, afraid to speak, afraid to accept the reality that now stood before them. If a human scout unit could destroy thousands of ships, what would happen when Earth's true war fleets arrived? Back on their homeworlds, the reports caused panic. In the grand halls of the Dominion of Zor, warlords raged at the news, their fists pounding against steel tables. They had lost not to Earth's army but to its shadow. Some demanded revenge, calling for greater fleets to crush humanity before it could rise. But others, older and wiser, shook their heads. You cannot crush what you cannot understand, one veteran warlord said grimly. If their scouts can erase us, then their legions will end us. His words silenced even the proudest warriors. In the Calorian High Council, senators turned pale as they read the intercepted message. Fear crackled through the chamber like lightning. If scouts can do this, one stammered, then Earth holds power far beyond imagination. Others argued, desperate to believe otherwise. But the truth was clear. Humanity had not revealed its strength. Humanity had only shown a fragment of what it could do, and that fragment had been enough to terrify the galaxy. Among the smaller races, whispers of hope spread. On enslaved colonies, rebels began to dream of freedom, painting crude images of human warships on the walls of their prisons. If Earth sends only scouts to break empires, they whispered, then perhaps they will send their armies to break chains. To the weak, humanity's return was a promise. To the powerful, it was a nightmare. Meanwhile, the humans remained silent. Their scout fleet withdrew from the battlefield calm and disciplined, leaving only wreckage behind. They did not boast. They did not taunt. They left the galaxy to wonder, to fear, to imagine what else they had hidden. That silence was the cruelest weapon of all. Alien commanders who had once laughed at the thought of humans now lay awake in fear. They saw the faces of their soldiers burning in the wreckage, They heard the words again and again. Scout Unit 7, status green. And they realized the truth no one wanted to speak aloud. Humanity had not come to fight. Humanity had come to watch. And in watching, they had proven they were still the most dangerous species in the stars. The galaxy trembled, and the terrifying truth spread from world to world. If this was only a scout unit, then humanity's real fleets would be unstoppable. The message spread faster than any fleet could travel. In every empire, in every hidden outpost, in every marketplace, the same terrifying truth echoed. The aliens had not fought Earth's full fleet. They had fought only scouts. At first, the reports were dismissed as exaggeration, the wild lies of broken commanders who could not admit defeat. But, as more survivors told the same story, as intercepted transmissions confirmed the human words, the truth could no longer be denied. Humanity's true power had not even entered the field, and still, an armada had been torn apart. In the Calorian High Council, senators sat pale and trembling beneath the glow of their chamber lights. Their empire had ruled for centuries, confident that no challenger could rise against them. But now their confidence was shattered. "We have underestimated them," one senator whispered. "If their scouts fight like this, then what monsters will their armies be?" The chamber erupted into chaos. Some demanded war, others screamed for peace. Many demanded silence, fearing that even speaking of Earth too loudly might draw its attention. For the first time in generations, the Calorians were not the predators of the stars. They were prey. In the dominion of Zor, the warlords sat in their blackened halls, their eyes burning with rage. They had mocked the humans for centuries, calling them extinct, weak, forgotten. Now that laughter was gone. One warlord, scarred from countless battles, slammed his fist against the table. "We are not fighting men," he growled. "We are fighting storms." Another leaned forward, his voice cold. "If their scouts can erase our fleets, then their legions will erase our worlds." The warlords, who had never bowed to anyone, felt the weight of fear for the first time. Across the neutral colonies, whispers of hope grew stronger. The weak, the enslaved, the oppressed, those who had lived under the crushing heel of empires, now clung to a single dream, that humanity might come for them too. In the mining camps of the Drakari, slaves painted crude human faces on stone walls, praying to beings they had never met. In the refugee markets of Arolis, merchants traded rumors of dark ships with glowing blue engines, ships that appeared from the void like guardians. For the helpless, Earth had become more than a word. It had become a promise. But not all saw hope. Many saw only doom. In the hidden war rooms of the larger empires, strategists pored over battle data, trying to explain the impossible. Some claimed the humans had developed new weapons beyond physics. Others argued it was tactics, discipline, the sheer willpower that had always made humans dangerous. Yet no matter the theory, the conclusion was the same. The galaxy was not ready for humanity's return. And if Earth had chosen this moment to reveal itself, then everything was about to change. The fear grew worse when silence followed. The humans did not broadcast threats, did not demand tribute, did not even speak beyond their calm report of success. Their silence was heavier than any boast, for it left the galaxy guessing. Was this only the beginning? Would the real fleets arrive next? Would Earth rise to reclaim the stars? Or had the scout unit been nothing more than a warning? Alien soldiers whispered in their barracks, too afraid to admit their dread aloud. Veterans told old stories of human wars, of battles where a few humans had turned entire tides, where their refusal to surrender had broken stronger species. Now those stories were no longer myths, they were living truth. On distant moons, commanders ordered new drills, trying to prepare for a war they already knew they could not win. In every corner of the galaxy, one phrase passed from mouth to mouth, carved into the hearts of billions. That wasn't Earth's fleet, just their scouts. The words carried the weight of prophecy. If scouts could do this, then the true armies of Earth would be unstoppable. And so the galaxy trembled. For centuries, the stars had belonged to the empires, to the warlords, to the conquerors. Now every empire, every warlord, every conqueror felt the same shadow fall over them. Humanity had returned, and though only their scouts had spoken, the message was clear. The galaxy would never sleep easily again. The battlefield had long gone silent, but the echoes of what happened still haunted the galaxy. Wreckage drifted through the void, the remains of proud alien warships now nothing more than broken shells. Survivors carried the story like a curse, their voices trembling whenever they spoke the words. It was only a scout unit. That single truth traveled faster than light, faster than any fleet, infecting every council hall, every war room, every marketplace. The galaxy no longer argued over whether it was real. The question now was far more dangerous. What would happen when Earth sent more? On the Calorian homeworld, senators argued in desperation. "We must prepare for war," one cried, his face pale. "If their scouts can do this, their fleets will burn us all." Another shook her head. "No, we must appease them. Offer treaties, offer trade. We cannot fight what we cannot defeat." But her words brought no comfort. The council chamber was heavy with fear, for no matter what choice they made, humanity's silence left them powerless. In the dominion of Zor, warlords who once roared with pride now spoke in whispers. Their armies were vast, their fleets unmatched, until the humans had come. Now, even the most ruthless of them stared into the void with unease. One warlord, scarred from 1,000 battles, admitted what none wished to say. "We are no longer the hunters. We are the hunted." The words chilled his warriors, for if such strength could come from scouts, then their true armies would be storms that no defense could withstand. On smaller worlds, the news spread with a different tone. Among the oppressed, the enslaved, the forgotten, humanity's return became a legend of hope. In mines where slaves worked under cruel whips, they whispered that Earth would come for them too. On refugee worlds, children painted crude stars on walls saying they belonged to the humans now, protectors who would not bow. For the powerless, the scout fleet was not a warning, it was a promise. But humanity did not move. No fleets emerged from Sol, no armies marched, no declarations of conquest shook the stars. Instead, only one message was broadcast, clear, cold, and unforgettable. It was delivered across every open channel, impossible to block, impossible to ignore. A human voice, calm and steady, spoke 9 simple words. "We sent only scouts. Remember what that means." The words fell like a hammer across the galaxy. Empires froze, warlords fell silent, civilians trembled. It was not a threat. It was not a boast. It was a reminder, gentle yet merciless. If scouts could erase an armada, then the galaxy had not yet seen the true might of Earth. Humanity had revealed only a shadow of its strength, and even that shadow had broken the stars. War rooms. Leaders stared at those words, repeating them again and again. Some tried to convince themselves it was bluff. Some prayed it was exaggeration. But deep in their hearts they knew the truth. Humans did not bluff. Humans did not exaggerate. If they said it was scouts, then it was scouts. And if scouts could do this, then Earth's real fleets were beyond imagination. The galaxy had lived for centuries believing humanity extinct. Now they understood that extinction had never claimed them. Humanity had waited. Humanity had endured. Humanity had sharpened its claws in silence, preparing for the day when the stars would once again remember their name. And now that day had come. Alien commanders who once mocked humans now woke in cold terror. Soldiers who once boasted of their conquests now whispered of the shadow fleets in their nightmares. Civilians told stories around fires, speaking the words with awe and fear. "We sent only scouts." The phrase became legend, prophecy, and warning all at once. And somewhere far from the trembling empires, Earth remained quiet. Its fleets stayed hidden, its armies stayed patient. For humans knew something the galaxy had yet to learn. Fear was a weapon sharper than any blade. and silence was a storm louder than any roar. With only scouts, they had broken an armada. With only words, they had shaken the galaxy. And when the day came for Earth to truly rise, the stars themselves would tremble. The galaxy would never forget the warning of Earth.